Welcome to the Silicon Slope Show and another week here on planet Earth. We have an incredible two guests here today who have accomplished incredible things. Garrett, why don't you introduce them? Why don't you do something for once and introduce them?
We're 7 seconds in. Grace and Camille Weston, who are the co-founders of Nona Rose. How are y'all?
We're good.
We're good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Monday morning. Good weekend?
Yeah, not too much happened.
Weather's good.
But
Things are good.
that's how we wanted it.
And y'all are from Indiana, but have never watched Parks and Rec.
Unfortunately not. I know. That's so embarrassing.
No, it's fine.
I think I've watched the first episode. Does it have something to do with penguins getting married?
Yeah.
Okay. I did watch that
All
one.
the
Stuff like
boring shows are all in Indiana. Like it's always like
People are
comedy.
gonna
They're
be
like,
offended.
oh, Indiana, it's so funny.
What all do you do in Indiana? Where did you grow up?
So we grew up just a little bit south of Indianapolis. People always ask this question, like, what is there to do? The normal stuff, work, school.
Yeah.
There's nothing like extremely exciting about the place. Like, there's nothing that
It's the
draws
Indy
me.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just happened.
It's more
so-
exciting than Utah. What are we talking?
It actually is.
Think about where we are.
I mean,
We have no national parks,
n-
and
Yeah.
like you
there's
don't
some
have
state
like
parks.
Utah. Like we have all different climates. We have all different types of
Yeah.
geography. But
It's
like
really beautiful, like farmland.
Yeah.
Like the sunsets are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But our family lives here now, so I don't really think life will take us back there.
Gotcha.
business doesn't really take me to Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What
Yeah.
does Nona Rose do? How did all this get started?
So we are a marketing agency and we focus mostly in social media.
The microphone.
Hello?
Oh, it like went silent.
Oh, there we go.
Weston's tinkering out there. Goodness gracious.
Obviously, you guys are young, and this can't be that old company. So I'm interested in the founding story. I'm always interested when young entrepreneurs give it their first go. So where did the idea come from? Where did the courage come from? And where did the first initial success points come from?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been entrepreneurs our whole lives, but didn't really like give ourselves that title. So we did grow up in Indiana, and we grew up on a farm, and we'd been like selling chicken eggs since like as soon as I can remember. And
We've always been hustlers.
yeah, like I mean, our parents always wanted us to buy things ourselves, and so we were always looking for odds and ends ways to be able to make money to get what we wanted. And so it was pretty easy through like selling chicken eggs, or we sold produce. I mean, like
Not all of our early ventures were very profitable.
No. I don't think there were any profit margins on anything, honestly.
But
But our parents were the funders, so the profits were all ours.
That's true.
That's
This is
awesome.
true. Yeah. Anyways, so we learned a lot from a young age of how to hustle, kind of take the path less traveled. And I mean, Nona Rose started a little over 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, and like it was kind of a coincidence, honestly.
Yeah.
We had been both going to BYU, which neither of us have graduated BYU, but we both almost did. And we were studying entrepreneurship, but we didn't originally start in entrepreneurship. I was a genetics major, and Grace was like sociology or something.
Oh yeah, I think I was. I honestly forget.
So
That's awesome.
Didn't stick.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it was mostly
I switched to
undecided,
business, and so did Camille, and we ended
Yeah.
up both studying entrepreneurship.
which is a pointless degree, and I don't recommend.
Although it did open some doors for us. Honestly, we see everything as a stepping stone. Like every
Yeah.
step got us to where we are today. And the purpose of majoring in entrepreneurship was not to learn how to be an entrepreneur. It was for other reasons that we now can see. But
Yeah.
we ended up dropping out because we felt like we got everything we needed from that part of our life, which, took some time for our parents to get used to. And still to this day, it's very intriguing for people. But we just felt like, we had gotten everything we needed out of school and we were ready for the next step. And that came before graduation.
Yeah,
So
I
we
think
both dropped
the
out.
biggest thing we'll always say is like go to college, get the education until you go to college to get a job. So if your job comes before the college degree comes, then so be it.
Yeah.
So we both took a class. I took it first, and it was a entrepreneurial marketing course.
Marketing 101 or
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Intro to marketing.
It was like marketing for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of the class now, but
Mine's blown because literally they didn't go over this, in the other
we
classes.
we didn't learn anything
But
about
if you can't
how to market a business
something,
in the
you don't have a
entrepreneurship
business.
program.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, our minds were blown, and I can only speak for myself, but I know that I can speak for Camille on this too, is that we always both had this feeling inside of us that we were meant for more, something bigger. We didn't always know what that was, but this marketing class opened our eyes to a space that we really could make a difference, and that was the very beginning.
Yeah. So from that class, I started actually working for the professor. He was an adjunct professor, Ryan Cook. He's awesome.
Shout out Ryan.
He also has an agency called Quartz Marketing, and then he also has a dress company, Poet Dresses.
Yes,
So
they're amazing.
they're awesome. Kat and Ryan are some of our biggest mentors, and like the reason we started
I feel like
everything in the first
they
place.
are like they were our first real mentors. I feel like it's
Yeah.
hard to find mentors in the business scene, but we really, really respect Ryan and his wife Kat, and so they kind of opened the door into marketing for us. And from there, I mean,
Yeah, so I started working for him, and we mainly did we did some social media, but I mainly focused on SEO, which was something that I had never done before. But like I said before, I was going to be a genetics major. I've always been like very technical, like back end, and that just so clicked in my mind, like SEO. And I think the biggest thing about marketing is I was always kind of like, I don't want to be that girl in social media or marketing, because I always felt like I was like a little more intelligent than that. And now I know 100% that is such a stereotype, because like now I work in social media, now I make TikToks for a living, for my clients and for myself. And so it's like, now I realize how much strategy and like how smart you have to be in order to actually be successful on those platforms. So yeah, to anyone out there that thinks like, I don't want to do social media, I don't want to do marketing, it's so like I'm not going to use my brain and whatever. Like, no, I use my brain so much.
yeah.
But it was really awesome and cool to see that other side of marketing, doing SEO and everything like that. So after a little bit of time working for him, I started doing some freelance work. I just had picked up some like small clients. I had been working at it's here in Provo, Fish Kiss Fish Spa. I had been working there while I was going to college, and so I ended up starting to work on their social media just because I've been doing other stuff, and so they were one of my first freelance clients. And then I had a couple other freelance clients, like I worked with Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. I worked with
Like real estate agent.
yeah, I had like a mortgage lender and
yeah.
real estate agent. I'm like honestly forgetting the people. Anyway, so I had like these different freelance clients, and that's when Grace started joining and helping me, because I just honestly had too much work. I was also a wedding photographer.
Yeah, Camille was waking up at like 3 a.m. to finish writing
Literally.
SEO articles, and I started helping her. Keyword articles were my first kind of area that I helped Camille in with her freelance clients, and then it went beyond that. But I ended up taking Ryan's class as well, and Camille was really, honestly, my biggest mentor at the beginning, because she taught me in all of our moments that we weren't in class, that we weren't working on all of our other projects. She would teach me what she was learning. And we've always been self-taught learners, and so this is the way
we
that
were
we
homeschooled.
both. Oh yeah, we were.
Oh yeah.
So
wow.
this was natural.
Perfect.
This is natural to us.
So
Like,
we're like very, very used to teaching ourselves how to do things, and always love to learn on the job.
yeah. I mean, I've learned more in the last 2.5 years of running Nona Rose than I would argue than all the time combined spent in public school or college. We both went to high school for public school, so we started then. But
How did you come up with the name?
Nona Rose.
Yeah. It was a name on I just have had like a list of, most girls have baby name lists. I have a business name list. And it's just like Nona
cool.
Rose was gonna be I'd always planned for it to be a clothing brand, and it had just been like I'd always wanted to start like a brand. I love fashion. I was like, I want to do that.
Women's professional wear.
So originally, even getting into marketing and doing the entrepreneurship program, I was like, this is going to be awesome. Like, I'm going to learn a lot of cool background stuff. I can go like work another job for a little bit, learn more, and then start a business down the line. That was kind of like the rough draft plan.
That was always the plan.
And then even when I was doing like freelance and such, and Grace was helping me, it was kind of like, oh, this is so awesome. Like, this is a great way to make money, but this isn't going to be like my full-time gig. Like, this isn't going to be what I do when I graduate.
Right.
So Nona Rose was supposed to be the name of the clothing brand that I was going to start, and it was going to be professional women's attire. Anyways, that didn't happen, and we were like trying to decide for a while what we wanted to call ourselves. And there was like an original name, but there was just like a couple like things surrounding it that we didn't super like, that people were like, oh, does that mean this about the company? And so I was like, ooh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So we learned that pretty quickly in the very beginning, and then
It has
so
no
then
significant
it has no
meaning.
significance.
We just
It's just
it.
cute.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it's a great
Everyone
name.
always asks like, oh, was that your grandma's name? Because Nona means grandma.
No, it wasn't.
But no.
Yeah.
But we love it. I think Nona Rose is a really beautiful name, and
is.
I like the ring of it. So
It is easy
So
to
you've
Stay.
worked with Coconut,
Coconut.
Irish Store, Just Ingredients, Miki Couture. Some of these are Utah companies.
Yeah.
Just Ingredients is an incredible company. Do you ever, like, when you're working with these companies, like, I should just start a company? I can do this. I mean, obviously, Nona Rose is a company. But you know what I mean? Like, we should sell a product. We should launch that.
I mean, all I can say is keep watching. I
Okay.
can't say much more than that.
Yeah, all I can say is
But
just, stay
we are
tuned.
only at the very beginning.
Yeah, just know that Nona Rose is only the beginning of
Yeah.
many things that you'll see our face tied
But you
to.
do have a point. I mean, we've been learning so much about how to scale a company. And although, we have our hands in all different types of niches, all different types of products. And we've learned so much about,
like what type of business I would want to start,
how
what
to
type of
attract
business
in
I
the
would
customer,
never want to start.
how to retain a customer, like so many things. And especially on the organic side, I mean, we feel completely confident that if we were ever to start a company, we know the ins and outs of how to build a community organically and paid. But
if you were to start a company, what kind of company would it be?
Let's just say it would not be clothing. Or at
Really?
least it wouldn't be 100%
At the beginning,
clothing.
at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I mean, you just think about it, and it's just, there's so much that goes into it. Like, you have to constantly be coming out with new releases. The fit is so important. Doesn't matter how cute it is. As soon as someone gets it, like, doesn't matter your packaging, because all they care about is when they put it on and it's if it fits them.
Yeah, that's all Garrett cares about.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because everybody has different body types, and
Yeah.
all sizing's different across the board. You're going to get hit if you're not size inclusive enough. You're going to get hit if you're like too size inclusive and then you don't have enough of certain sizes that are popular. Then you're also going to
Right.
get hit, and like you got the returns, and that just makes profit margins like start to suffer.
We also focus on something that's affordable because, our demographic and our customer base is a lot larger and there's a lot more potential to scale. So there's always more potential for you to start a company that you're attracting to the average Joe versus, the 2% that makes more than, 300,000 a year.
Yeah, I made like a LinkedIn post about this the other day, but I think it's always so funny because like the brands that I personally shop from, like I don't think that they'll ever be able to scale beyond like $5 to $10 million a year in revenue, because like I'm a very niche demographic, like being young but having like a little more discretionary income, that's pretty rare. And so like I will buy like the $200 dress, but like most people won't.
Right.
And so that's like, okay, like that person, someone in their 30s or 40s who maybe can afford that isn't going to buy that. So it's like you really have a small demographic. So I think like the biggest thing is making sure you have like a very large demographic, and there's so many people that you can have, and a community you can build that's very large and isn't it's something that somebody can like easily be like, they see it on an ad and they'll buy it immediately
It makes
because
sense.
it's like,
it's
oh,
not breaking the bank.
it's under $30. It's
Everyone has an
basically
extra $20. I mean, most people have an extra $20.
Wait, so what is it? Tell us what you're doing.
free. No.
just refuse. We narrowed it down to a lot that they wouldn't do.
No, yeah, that was
Just
good.
keep watching.
I feel
Yeah.
like we're
Keep
getting.
watching.
Hey, tell us about here's something that I don't know anything about, and I know he doesn't even know how to log into these things. TikTok, Instagram, these types of things. How important is that as a consumer brand and trying to sell stuff like organic? Like we don't understand this, do we? You don't. He
Clearly
doesn't
not.
understand.
But I do have a question
Yeah.
related to
Go
his.
for it.
Okay, just skip over mine.
No, I think
Are you adding to it?
yeah, just a little add-on. There's a headline, Wall Street Journal, Friday. Dr. Pepper is caught up with Pepsi as the number 2 drink maker, and it listed. I didn't read the article, but in the headline it was a couple of normal marketing techniques and then TikTok videos. So I've never watched a TikTok video, and I can't even fathom in my little feeble brain what would possess somebody to buy Dr. Pepper after watching a TikTok video. Anyway,
So you got a lot of work to do
It's
here.
strategic product placement. I mean,
Uh-huh.
if you see something often enough, you're going to be thinking about it. I mean, when I was looking for what car to buy and I decided on getting a Tesla, like suddenly I felt like everyone was driving a Tesla on the road. And that's exactly how it works with our brains. You know, the more we see something, the more we remember it, the more it's on our mind. So although that TikTok, they're not clicking purchase per se when they see someone drinking a Pepsi on the TikTok video, it's now on their mind, and they're more likely to get it when they're at the restaurant the next time. They're more likely to buy a bottle when they're at Walmart. You know, it's just strategic product placement that puts it at the front of your head.
Yeah,
Of your brain.
it's all traditional marketing methods, just repurposed in different ways. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had product placement since the beginning of time, from TV shows and news, and now it's just different things. So instead of us having channels that people go onto cable to click and watch, they're instead going onto their favorite influencers' profile pages. Those are the channels.
Yeah.
And then they have advertisement breaks. It's just like, I mean, it's just like a podcast. Like, if you ever have an ad on here, that's the same thing as an influencer. And a lot of times too, things aren't like paid per se, and your goal is to get, as your product gets so big that it has like a brand and a clout attached to it, that if you're associated with it, you have clout. So I guess an example for this, like I would say the Dr. Pepper, 100% that's blown up because of a lot of really popular influencers are Dr. Pepper addicts, like Emily
It's
Kaiser
the
is
best
a huge
soda. It's the best soda.
I mean, it's yum, and I
is.
think that like Utah has heavily influenced the soda culture growing bigger, especially with Swig and Sodalicious and all the different soda shops. It's actually really, really interesting how Utah has had such a impact on the social world, because Utah moms are the OG bloggers.
Yeah.
Like, that was from like blogspot.com, like ever since the beginning days. I mean, our mom was a blogger back in the day, and it's all the same thing. I mean, they called it vlogging. It's just video blog.
Yeah.
Like, I think people overcomplicate it. It's literally the exact same thing, just slightly different.
I mean, the whole purpose of social media is to get to the point where you're not the only one selling your products, that other people are selling it for you. And that's what has happened with Pepsi. I mean, Dr. Pepper could keep being sold without them running another ad in the next 6 months, just because it has such a big brand awareness that other people have built for them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely important. Back to your question about how does that play a role in building a company? I mean, a lot of brands or companies are ClickFunnels. They rely mostly on paid ads. And, you know, that works. It's great. It's such a blessing that you can really grow a company from paid ads. But there's always the question, you know, if I were to stop running ads today, would I still have a brand? And that's where organic comes in and carries you into the future. And so, you know, there's always changes being made on the paid end with Meta, and that, you know, who knows what will happen in the future, but word of mouth has always been the most secure method of marketing. And that's what organic does. It amplifies your word of mouth to millions, billions of touch points per day, or the potential to have. So yes, organic is incredibly important. From a brand standpoint.
What
but
are the
also
best
personal.
kinds of like videos to post? Or is it like the straight on? Is it like kind of the scripted ones? Like what do you normally do? How do you decide, I guess, what type of video to post?
Yeah, it changes 100% depending on the person and also like the trends at the time. So, I mean, for a lot of our clients, different things do best. And it is like such a phase of having to learn. Like, I feel like for somebody that really understands ads, they would understand the same thing. Like, you have to have content diversity. You have to switch things up so people don't get bored. You also have to kind of figure out what your audience likes. Like, for a lot of people, we'll put it into different categories. Like, for certain products, aspirational content does the best. So that's going to look really good if you have like a very attractive person doing something very aesthetic, and like it be like, wow, it's kind of like a Pinterest thing. It's like an aesthetic thing you would pin on Pinterest. And like a lot of times have some sort of like relatable words in front of it. And then there's also comedy. So there's tons and tons of like sounds
Super relatable.
that people will lip sync to, and you can modify it to fit your
The
niche
POV,
at the time. Like,
you know.
all sorts of things like that. And I mean, it's like it's an intense practice of creativity. And thankfully, like, it comes very naturally to Grace and I to be very creative
Is
people.
this your TikTok here? Can you
This
guys
is the
see that?
Nona Rose. This is the Nona Rose
Oh, the
TikTok.
Nona
Yes.
Rose one?
Oh, yes. We've been working on being a lot more consistent on our own ends.
How
Yeah.
often should you post on TikTok? By the way, what are you going to do if TikTok gets shut down? Just go to Reels?
So
Or you do 'em all
I
anyways?
honestly, like, I mean, as everyone knows, the chance of TikTok actually getting banned is like very, very slim.
Yeah.
And also it's just one of those other things where it's like, that is just the thing about having a business and being on the internet. Like, there's going to be stuff that comes up all the time, like changes to security measures, changes to whatever. And we've seen that. And it's about like, you've got to have audiences everywhere. And you know what? If you have an audience on TikTok and you've done such good at curating that community, it doesn't matter if TikTok exists or not, because if people know your face, you can post something on any other channel. I mean, we have YouTube Shorts now. I'm sure you guys have seen that LinkedIn is beta testing videos. There's going to be.
He hasn't seen. He doesn't know. How to
There's going
He
to
said
be.
he's on LinkedIn.
I'm
Yeah,
on
you are on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
The
If you have
video-
the app,
Log in right now.
It's really cool. The beta.
yeah, so they've been having like just influencers that post on other channels. I mean, we've seen like people always are like, oh, Instagram and TikTok are not for like B2B companies, but that's actually very, very false. Like, people, it's really just, I always think it's funny when people are like, this doesn't work for me. And I'm like, have you ever tried? Because I'm like, try for a year consistently and then let's talk.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing. It's like, no, if you're the first one to do it, like, I mean, there's first mover advantage, but there's also first mover, like, you're going to have to start from scratch. So a lot of people don't do it that are B2B, but there's like girls who cold call for a living, and they like, there's this girl that literally records herself like cold calling.
Everything is a
and
content opportunity.
Yeah,
and
it's just like,
you have to
it's
look at it
always
that
setting
way.
up a camera. And so yeah, it's just like being really creative about how you can make everything that you do reach more people. Because the truth is, if
mean-
you don't set up the camera, it's like you can only impact so many people, just the ones that see you. How many more if you just put up a camera and post a video?
I mean, think about Vines, Musically. Like, although those apps and platforms are obsolete now, those same creators, if they played their cards right, are really big on the existing platforms that are now trending. So there will always be more platforms. Content is not going anywhere. Content is just becoming a bigger part of our lives, a bigger portion of business. And so, yeah, we have to be flexible and able to pivot, but our hypothesis is TikTok is not going anywhere. But if for some reason it were to go
That
somewhere,
format's not going anywhere.
No. And one
Exactly.
biggest thing too is that people oftentimes too will talk to new clients and be like, I don't know about putting as much effort into TikTok right now, because what if it gets banned? And it's like, well, first of all, most people are still putting stuff into TikTok, so you're
I
missing out
still
on those
spend
opportunities.
hours on that platform a day.
Yeah. And then also, it's like, we have seen time and time again that if something does well on TikTok, it'll do just as well, if not better, on all other platforms. So TikTok's one of the only platforms that you can literally post. Like, you could post
I
like
would say it's
6
the
to 8
harshest
times a day.
platform.
You post 6 to 8 times a day, and like, it's okay because there's just so much content being pushed out. But it's an incredible way to test your content. So like, for me personally, on my personal channel, like, I'll post multiple TikToks a day, and then my best performing ones on TikTok, I'll post on Reels. So I just posted a TikTok like a little while ago, and it got like 1.2 million views on TikTok. But then
That's incredible.
but then I posted it on Instagram just a couple days ago, and it got 3 million.
Yeah.
So it's like,
These numbers are absurd. There's only 3 million people who live in Utah.
Yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
at most.
I mean, I
Oh,
didn't know
dang.
that, but I mean,
The numbers,
But
I
if-
think it's like, once you start working with bigger numbers, they start to sound small. Because I mean, Grace, how
we
many?
went to a concert. We went to the Laney concert a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
I had just hit, like, was it 30K? And we were in the
Delta Center.
Delta Center. And we were, looking at all the people. The center is completely packed with people. And I looked up how many people could fit in that arena, and it was over 12,000. I think I may
Yeah.
be wrong, but it was a lot. And
It's
How many?
It's 19,500.
okay, so I think I had just hit 30 or 35, and basically the amount of followers I had on my TikTok could have filled 2.5
It's crazy.
of the Delta centers.
It's
and
absurd.
it really put things into perspective to me of like, even if you get 2,000 views on a video, that's 2,000 people. That's
That's
a lot of
so
people
many
that you were
people.
able to influence and that saw you. And, that was a 2,000 touch points you just made. So,
You are celebrities. Like, this is what this is like what celebrities do.
I don't feel like a
Do
celebrity.
you get
but
noticed when you go out? You're like, hey, remember I saw your TikTok.
I've seen some of my hairstyles. So I'm a hairstyle TikToker and Instagrammer. None of my videos have anything to do with Nona Rose, and that's how I want it to be. I want to build a personal brand that doesn't piggyback off of my company. So I make and post 2 hairstyles a day. So in all of my off time, if you're wondering where I am, I'm in my bedroom. I'm braiding. That is my hobby. But it's gotten huge, and I've seen people out in public wearing my hairstyles, and it's really, really cool to see.
That's
I remember
cool.
like our mom went to Costco like a couple
Yeah.
days after one of Grace's like most viral videos, and she saw a girl like wearing the hairstyle,
And it was a
and we'd
pretty
never seen
unique
it before.
hairstyle that I made up. So it
So
was
yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
right there. And what on like Instagram, what is your
Yeah.
most viral video? Is it like 5.8 million or
I
something?
feel like Instagram's a better thing to show most recently. My TikToks haven't been going as viral.
Yeah,
but
Weston, go to Instagram, dude.
but my Instagram has been popping off. It's been doing really well, and I just hit 60K 2 days ago.
This is wild.
Yeah.
We're like catching like early celebrities. Like in 2 months, you guys are going to be too big for this show.
But I mean, for everyone watching, start today, because I started 6 months ago on Instagram and I already have 60K, and I'm making a couple $1,000s a month from brand deals. And it's pretty crazy to see, like, if I can do it, you can do it. And so
Yeah, and then Weston, if you go over to the Reels tab, you can see like the views and stuff from there.
yeah.
Is it not showing on? It
It's
might not
showing
show
the
on this,
views.
but
That's
but yeah, was your most viral video like 5.8 million or something, or is it
something
6.8?
like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like
Weird it's not showing the views.
So show us like, here, let's take a test case. Let's say we want Garrett to become a TikTok star in the next year.
mhm.
How would he even, like, what are you going to do with this thing? How would you even do that?
well,
well-
I don't really know, like, what you do. No,
It's not possible.
No,
It's
that's
not
not what I was
possible.
saying.
literally anybody, like, but I would say like it does, anybody can be famous, but I think the biggest thing, like I always say too, is like, remember that people see influencers and they're like, wow, they just blew up, it's just so lucky. Like, everybody behind it, it's strategy, and everyone behind it, it's business. And these influencers are businesses. Them as a person is a business. They have teams behind them. Like, they're not doing this alone and just throwing up a video. Like, when they post something, they're strategically doing it because their team's saying like, hey,
Yeah.
they want to know this about you. You need to be more vulnerable here. They need to understand you better, whatever.
I mean, at the beginning, when you're building your own platform, you have to choose something to be consistent in, because people need to be able to recognize you from video A to video B. So, Garrett, if you make a video about like all different things from your life, it's going to be harder to go viral than if you, let's say you love mountain biking and your first 100 videos are only about mountain biking. People get to know you as the mountain biking guy, and then you have an opportunity once you've built a community to kind of expand from mountain biking. And they'll be more interested in learning about your life because you have people watching you. So that's how it worked with me with hair. Like, I'm still building my first loyal community, and that's why I'm sticking primarily with hair. But I don't expect to always be doing hair in my content. I want to be able to switch into more lifestyle and, more talking videos. But most of my videos have to be hooks right now, as I'm building that first community. So just choose something to be consistent with. What I was saying is I don't know what your hobbies are, and so I would
I don't
choose
know either.
one.
What are
And,
You do know, and you.
but I mean, even a day in the life of a podcast host, I mean, that's cool, and you
Sure.
could do things like that. So you
It's a
just have
lot
to
of
commit.
garage sales, DI, and dumpster diving. So
Oh.
What?
Honestly,
what is
that's
your
kind
life?
of cool.
it is.
Yeah, that's like a really like honestly
my
people-
dumpster dive finds
Yeah.
of the day.
See,
I'd
every
watch.
time it resonates,
You get in dumpsters every day?
all the time.
Okay.
That's
What is the
actually-
coolest thing?
So
you
that's actually
found?
way cool. Like, we could turn him into a TikTok star by
Yeah.
doing that.
You totally
could.
could. The
All of
dumpster
the
diver.
TikTokers say so, but then I'd be giving away my secrets, which I ain't gonna do.
and that's
Your
another
Your secret
that's another
is getting
big
in a dumpster. That's
Brand new
not a
Dyson
secret.
vacuum
oh
and like
Seriously?
one of those like $2,000 strollers.
See,
Yeah.
this would be so cool for you to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I think that people too, and I think everyone, even me in the beginning was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to share secrets, whatever. Also just like take a second to be like, most people are so lazy. Like
They're
the
not gonna
majority.
do it.
Like,
as cool as the
this-
item you found in your dumpster, I'm not gonna go dig in mine.
I doubt it. Yeah,
But I'll
it's
watch
pretty
you
safe.
dig in yours.
Yeah.
So
It's just entertainment because, like, I mean, people watch Grace's hair videos with no intention to ever do their hair. They might not even have hair. Like, it's like it's
is
just
true.
like, yes, there's some people that are actually watching them to do it, but some people just watch it because it's like it's almost kind of like it's not ASMR, but it's very like aesthetically pleasing to watch. It's just something that's
Yeah.
kind of like mindless. A lot of people are on TikTok because they just want to kind of like get their mind off things. So to watch something cool, like, I mean, have you guys seen the carpet cleaners on TikTok?
Oh boy.
Oh my
Or the
gosh.
car
they
cleaners.
they clean the carpets and it's like the most dirty carpet, and then they like go through all these things and just ASMR. It's
Do you
so
think-
aesthetically
do you,
pleasing to watch.
I mean, they've earned business from those videos. Those don't make people want to go wash their own car. No, they make them want to hire that person to come wash their car. So, I mean, I would say there would be more pros to
Yeah.
cons than
I mean,
sharing
there's
your
literally, like-
dumpster diving secrets.
like mowing the lawn. There's people who just like
Yeah.
landscaping, and they just do like aesthetic videos of them doing it. And it's like in like 2 times, 3 times speed, and it's just like so cool. It's like, wow, how did they get that pattern in their grass?
I've spent hours on that
Oh
side
yeah,
of
see,
TikTok.
those like get me every time, and it's
See?
insane.
It starts with this like
And then they just
horrifically
get
dirty
it.
rug.
They get it so clean.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah, Garrett can do that.
But that's
See-
why I just like the most random stuff. It's like it doesn't have to be, and in these days too, it's like the kind of stuff where you just pick up your phone and you just take a video and you put some text on it. That often is the most viral video. It's not the curated like thing.
I mean,
Depending on your platform, like depending on who your audience is, because some people do really like that aesthetic content, and then the relatable type stuff also does super well. So it's just figuring out your audience.
but I feel like 'cause focusing too much on strategy is jumping the gun if you've never done anything before.
Yeah.
Because the number one important thing is consistency. I mean, if you are consistent, you win. If you just follow through, you win. Because it's that hard to follow through with anything, like with a business, with a family, with a relationship, with a hobby, with a job.
Yeah.
Like if you just simply show up every day and commit and be consistent, then you are making it farther than 90% of the majority of the
yeah, because
population.
by being consistent, you inevitably learn, and I mean, hopefully you do, and you see like once you see the number, be like, okay, if you start and you're like getting 200 views on everything, and it's like, oh, okay, dang it, and then
That's not good.
Well, I mean,
It sounds incredible. If he got 200
I
views on
mean-
something, I would shake
at
his
the
hand.
beginning, it depends on where you.
yeah, it depends on where you're at.
Is.
So let's say like you're getting 200 views like consistently, and then you see one of your videos get 1,000. So now it's like, okay, what about that video got 1,000 views, and what can I do so that my 3 videos tomorrow are going to hit 1,000 views? And then you just keep doing that, and then the numbers keep growing, and you keep learning, and then you have to keep trying new things so your audience doesn't get bored. And that's just like the gist of it. And it's like people like I said before, try to overcomplicate social media so much when it's the same principles that you apply to literally every single day life. I mean, it's just about habits. It's just about how humans work. It's just about psychology. Like it's the basic human elements that we've always had since the beginning of time. And it's the same thing with like a business. If you're working in sales, it's like, if you only follow up one time and you don't have any customers, then I don't feel bad for you.
I mean, it's a numbers game, right? Because in sales, maybe one person will say no, but if you're to knock a certain amount more doors, eventually someone's going to say yes. And it's the same thing with social media. Like eventually a video will go viral.
But then like as you get better at sales, more of those doors are going to turn into yeses. Just like as you get better at social media and strategy, the more doors you knock, the more people like are going to say yes. Same thing with posting videos. You got to start knocking those doors. You got to start posting the videos. And then as you figure out what gets you the yes, you keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's just the same principle.
I'm so excited for the company you're going to start. It's going to blow up.
We already have
We
a
already have a
company.
company.
Be excited about that
I
one.
know. And everybody should check it out. But I'm talking about the product you're about to launch.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that we aren't even for sure what that said company will exactly look like. We're still
But that's
ideating,
like
but
the whole thing about like, just like we said before about the principles of everything, like that's the same way we run everything. That's how we run Nona Rose. And like bringing it a little bit back to Nona Rose is like, we started as an SEO agency. So we were just doing SEO, and then we had SEO clients in the beginning, and that was great. And we were able to help them a ton. But guess what? It didn't matter how many people we brought to their website. The people were just like, I don't love SEO. And it was like, oh, okay. Cool.
so we changed our
it's like-
services
I'm
and,
like-
and we've pivoted a lot and we ended up a portion of SEO is off-page SEO, which is digital PR, getting
Yeah.
features on different websites and different domains. And so people started showing more interest in that element of SEO. So, and we still offer a lot of PR services. But then going off of that, I mean, social media is an element of PR, and that's what people started showing
Yeah.
interested in. So we
now we
then
pretty
pivoted
much, like-
mostly into social media.
Like 90% of our clients are social media, and it's not even like we're not even in the accounts of any of our clients. We just create content.
and we give them the package of content, and that's what they get to use because creating content is, I mean, brand teams get creative fatigue, and it is a lot of work to create diverse content
Yeah.
to be posting every day.
Especially
And
because
so-
e-commerce brands, like they typically have very lean teams, like not a ton of people on the team. And a lot of times there's remote, or maybe you work at a warehouse and it's just like having to coordinate models or coordinate even just like people on the team that can be in videos can be
Finding
difficult.
locations, writing scripts, like all of these things take a lot of time, and
A lot of
pretty
people
much-
aren't comfortable in front of the camera and,
Yeah.
and won't show their face on social media. Or like the truth is like there are some people who just like are going to have like viral personalities and like viral looks. Like, I mean, as bad as that sounds, like it's true. And so
Yeah.
not everyone is like
That's why
comfortable
all of our
or
beauty
does
procedures
well.
are write-offs. Anyways, but I mean, going back to that, we alleviate kind of that burden for brands a little bit. We don't replace their social media teams, but we supplement them. And so for some brands, we'll come in and make, 5 great videos to use in their ads each month. For others, we'll create up to like 20 videos that they'll be posting on their organic socials. So we kind of just take that area where their team is the weakest, and we don't take any of the credit for it. Like, we don't like to use our clients for clout. Like, we want to be as behind
You
the
see
scenes
all
as we
our
can
social
for them.
platforms, like our Nona Rose, like we're working on building Nona Rose is like Nona Rose, you get to know us and our team. And I think like one of the biggest icks I have about like a lot of agencies is them just trying to bounce off clout from their clients. And it's like, I mean, the biggest thing is that like clients change all the time. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
businesses are constantly changing, and sometimes like we're not the best fit for somebody anymore, depending on what they're wanting to do, or maybe they're going down. Like, that's just the name of the game. It just happens like that. Sometimes they don't have as much money. They're like, we got to do things in-house now. We got to be super duper lean with this. And so it's just like, there's so many external factors that like you can't do. So ever trying to like,
We have to focus on the
you
common
know.
denominator, and that's how an agency succeeds, because
and the common denominator is us and our
is
team,
our
and,
team
and
and
who
our
we are,
services, our
and
skills.
and just the fact that we can create content. So for us, as long as like we're getting everyone on our team, and everyone on our team, we have 2 other girls. Like this morning before we came in here, we were all making our personal PR goals for this week. And so everybody is supposed to, like, we make our own goals so that we can hold ourselves accountable to those. But everyone's expected to make personal PR goals, and that includes what social platforms are posting on, how
Posting
many
on
times.
LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Like, all of us on our team post individually.
And it's crazy because as we've been more consistent, every single person on the team has had a very viral video in the last like 2 weeks. And so that is how we show, like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's in, we can show you our other clients, but we can also show you our personal platforms. And that you can also see is like literally no other factors. Because I mean, there's factors sometimes for a client because they could already have a community. I mean, obviously, if you have a community and you add a good video, it's going to get more views. But for us too, it's like literally there was no other factors other than the fact that there was a great video. Like for most of the people on the team, we don't have like 1 million followers. Like, I have like 2,000 to 5,000 on my platforms. I mean, Grace now has more, but that's because of everything she did that we do for ourselves and our clients.
I mean, since the beginning of Nona Rose, Camille and I always talked about how we want to practice what we preach. Like, we're not like another agency. In fact, we don't even like to call ourselves an agency. We kind of act almost as
an
influencer relationship with these brands. And we have a set amount of deliverables that they never have to worry about. They always get a certain X amount of great videos or lifestyle pictures each month.
And do you guys like appear in the videos? Is that like part of it?
Sometimes.
Interesting.
So we also hire models. It kind of depends on what package somebody is on. But
If
yes,
we fit the ICP of that customer, sometimes we will show up, but we're really focusing on coordinating models as well.
A lot of the clients that we've been bringing on recently, like, we're not the person that's best to do it. I mean, obviously, we have 4 girls on the team, so if it's a men's focused brand, like we find male models or just regular guys, honestly, because that's the biggest thing. Like, we're just seeing that it's not always models that perform best. It depends on the brand, like I said. So sometimes it's just a normal.
So we'll
guy.
coordinate and we'll do all the planning. I mean, the coordination in itself is a full-time job. Getting the models to a certain point at a certain time at this certain location, making sure they get paid. We always pay our models, and also making a plan for that client. You know, how does this video fit into our overall strategy for them? How does it help reach their marketing goals? Like, these are things that we think through behind every single video. So the model and the actual filming is only
like
a third of the work.
easiest
You know,
part, the cherry on top.
My point with, like, I can't wait to see what product you come out with is not that because you're so skilled with Nona Rose and because you've built this and because you've worked with so many brands, you've learned what works, what doesn't. You've built a company already, and now most people actually do the opposite. I don't know if you've noticed this. They'll launch a product, and if that's successful, then they'll tack an agency on top of their
Yeah, a lot
company
of-
to show
yeah,
people.
I
Like
think-
you've started, I think, in the right way.
Yeah, thank you. I think, like I said, the biggest thing we've always done is just like, just learn from everything that we've done. And so like that started,
Yeah.
like we weren't planning on doing Nona Rose full time. And then that just made sense too. And then, I mean, we know now too that with an agency, like, you get too big and it's bad. So there's a cap to the growth an agency can have and still be good and produce great stuff for the people, just because as it gets bigger, sometimes clients won't feel like they're being attended to as much as they want to be. So we know that we will eventually reach kind of a cap of what Nona Rose can handle and what we will allow it to handle, so that our work doesn't suffer because of that.
Yeah.
And so that is why we also plan on doing other ventures, because, and that's, I think, why people also like ooh, e-commerce, because it is true, you can have like the profit margins on e-commerce can be really, really great, and that's why people go into it. But it's also the easiest company to fail at, because you're either going to be insanely profitable or it's going to be not. So
Yeah.
like that's why like e-commerce companies and tech companies, like they're super sexy to think about, but then like in actual practice, that can be really difficult if you don't know.
There's a
what
lot more to lose.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
This is cool. Thank you for coming on. How do people get a hold of you? How do they follow you? How do they, not that you need our help, you're getting
I mean,
millions
in
of
a
views.
business sense, I mean, LinkedIn, we are very, very, consistent on that platform, very active. Personal, I mean, we both are very active on our personal platforms as well. I would say I see everything. You can reach me everywhere. I'm everywhere. But
Yeah. I mean, we'll respond anywhere and everywhere. We're everywhere. So search up Nona Rose or search up Camille or Grace, and you'll find us, and that's how you do
Very
it.
cool.
yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming on. That was
Thanks
awesome.
for having us.
That was great. Tomorrow we have Caitlin Hansen. Is that the Caitlin Hansen?
Our friend and alumni of Silicon Slopes, Caitlin
Our
Hansen.
good friend Caitlin Hansen, who's the co-founder and COO of Mindless Labs. She'll be here tomorrow.
And a debate tomorrow.
Oh, we have we're the congressional debate.
Yep, third district.
Third district congressional debate. I'll be moderating that, right?
Yeah, check Silicon Slopes various platforms for the date, time, and place.
This is where power lives. That should be our new. Is that a good one? I don't think it is. All right. See everybody tomorrow.